I think we're at the top of the hour, and so we're going to segue now, I think, and move over to New Jersey, if I'm not mistaken. We have next person who's going to come from there. And do we have a nice slide about New Jersey that we can look at? There's 3 New Jersey Greens running this year. And Greens first ran in New Jersey in 1997 with 5 candidates, including for governor, 225 Green candidates throughout their history, 10th most of any state. 7 Greens elected in party history, 21st most of any state. Heading into this election, 1 New Jersey Green holds elective office. And there are 11,378 registered Greens in New Jersey, and that's the 4th most of any state. And we are going to be joined now by Erika, I think if I'm pronouncing your last name right, I want to say Jacho, who's running for re-election to the Belleville Board of Education. Erika was raised in the city and went to school in the district. She works as an appeals counselor, supported raising school taxes, and supports paying livable wage for teachers and other employees, and managing money to enhance student experience. She supported pre-K expansion, installation of solar panels, one-to-one Chromebook initiative, and renovation and expansion of school recreational areas. I believe that you've served for a number of years too, and maybe you can tell us how long you've been serving, and introduce yourself and tell us a little about yourself that I didn't. Welcome, Erika.
Hi, thank you for having me. I really appreciate you guys having this forum so that we could meet all the candidates across the United States and in New Jersey. It's a pleasure to have been invited. I've lived in Belleville for 33 years, and I saw the need to run when I was a PTA president and coaching the rec department for various sports. Good night. There's a lot of people here. Sorry. So I saw the need back in 2009. I ran. I also ran 2016 and then 2017 when I ran, I won. So on my 3rd time running, I won. But we did run on a ticket with somebody else, and unfortunately, she didn't win, but I did. And then I ran again in 2020, and I ran with a ticket, and I won. This time around, I went back to the original format, which was running on my own. I didn't do any mailers. I didn't do a lot of the things that I did after learning my first time and second time of losing. I felt that I'm tired of the money part of campaigns. As a taxpayer, as a homeowner, we already pay enough taxes and spend a lot of money. And so I went back to the old-fashioned mentality that I had. Based on the numbers, obviously, it pays to have financial backing for any campaign. I knew that going in, but I really did not financially go that route. I went to my old ways of just phone banking and reaching out to my community. Based on the numbers, it does not look like I'm going to win my reelection. It would have been my 3rd term, but I did give it a go 2 terms, which being a minority, being a woman, being Latina, definitely showed that I did and I was able to change a lot. I have done a lot of things for our children, and that's what I'm most proud of. We were in a deficit in 2016, $80 million deficit in Belleville, New Jersey. We were taken over by a state monitor. So when I ran in 2017 and I won, we have been able to transform and change all that around. We have a machine that we're almost going to get rid of our state monitor now. We were in place with it for 5 years, up to 10 years, depending the need. We have our facilities have been remodeled. We have new facilities. We have done a training facility indoor for our students to keep our kids out of the street, to keep them active, to keep them healthy. We are working on CASA, which hopefully I'll see to fruition before I leave. December 31st is my last day. And CASA stands for Center for Achievement and Success. And that is one of the most important parts of my campaign has been the children and making sure that they succeed. This is a indoor place that's going to be 7 days a week tutoring available to our kids, and our parents can come in and be tutored with their kids, which I'm so ecstatic for, because at the end of the day, we need that reinforcement at home for the children when they're doing their homework. And if our parents don't know the subject matter, how can we have that reinforcement at home? So I look forward to CASA opening to fruition by the summer. So these initiatives did not exist before. They were in the back of my thoughts when my kid was going to Belleville High School and in elementary and middle school. And I'm glad that I was part of this movement, part of the transparency, part of making sure solar panels came to Belleville, and they are in our school district now, which was not the case 6 years ago. And 2 years ago, I was able to be part of that change. So we're moving forward, and I'm glad I was part of that change.
Well, it sounds like you're leaving a wonderful legacy, even if you're not victorious. And we're sorry about the early results that are coming in right now. But it sounds like you've done some great work when you were there. And I certainly know how that goes. I lost my last election. And so, things happen and things change.
Listen, I lost them before, so there's no paycheck here. So I don't mind losing. Trust me, that's not the case. But what I do want to remind the community is that we have a voice as parents, we have a voice as taxpayers, and we're going to make sure that we use that.
I think, Erika, you mentioned that there was like an $80 million budget gap, and over 5 years, you've basically closed that such that the state monitor is going to go. I think that a lot of us are in places where our school districts are facing budgetary shortfalls. What did you do to sort that?
So when we came in, we were in an $80 million deficit. Okay. So that means they overspent monies that they did not have. They didn't even the monies that they had used were not adequate spending. That was one of the main reasons I ran for transparency, because our kids didn't even have books at the point in time where I came in. And to go from 0 books to books and Chromebooks, that's a turnaround. What happened is that I think that we had a new superintendent that was, although he's involved in different facets of the state of New Jersey, because he's on the ethics board here in the state of New Jersey, even though he may have titles that are somewhat political, just like me right now, I have a title that, is political. He's a parent of 4 children. So he's invested in kids. So you see the difference in the choices people make, the direction people move, when you see that they care. And I honestly feel that we have we hired a superintendent that has vested interest in the kids, making sure that the kids succeed. And when you have somebody like that, they don't just give overtime to thing. A lot of the monies were used for overtime, unnecessary overtime that was not needed. I recall 2010, there was $1 million that came into the school district. And then when I turned around, they said, oh, we painted 2 schools and the money's gone. I said, how do you spend $1 million on paint? How does that happen? So there was years of mismanagement that led to 2016. We make sure that when our state auditor comes in, I ask questions. It's a 200-page book. What do? We go through it and we make sure that if there's any mistakes that our BA is making, we correct them. When I came in, there was about 11 mistakes still happening. We're down to one. We're down to one compared to 11 mistakes. The mismanagement of money it boils down to the services you get. I always encourage my BA to make sure that I know that we have to use state vendors for certain things, but if we find a vendor that is giving us a better price, a better deal for books, for furniture, etc., we are able to get the list of those 3 vendors that are giving us that overpriced amount, compare it to the vendor who's trying to give us the discount to the superintendent, because I'm part of Essex County, our schools in Essex County, and then just the vendor who's giving us a better deal. Because at the end of the day, a lot of those vendors on those lists are price gouging. I have been advocating against price gouging because we're a school district and we have funds for the same pencil that we can Staples for 29 cents when they're on sale. They bill us $2.99 for the pack. That's the difference. So I've pushed for sensible choices, value to our tax dollars that are being used. And we were able to make sure that the spending was justified. And that has happened in those 6 years. And the money, our budget is $80 million a year. Our school district is still underfunded because we don't raise the taxes as often every year as we should. For example, this year in our budget meeting this April, we wanted, the budget itself requested $256 increments for each household in Belleville. I only allowed it to be $86 because I had state funding that could cause the balance and help out the taxpayer. And still our kids have everything they need. I advocate and we were able to do 256. I was happy with that. We were able to service our children with that $86 increase, and they have everything they need. In the future, I'm sure things go up with inflation, with time, etc. But while I was around, I made sure that we got a deal for that buck.
Sounds like
without cutting corners on our education and what our children needed, obviously.
Interesting. I bet you learned a lot about how the school system works while you were there too. I think that's a key to being successful, is actually paying attention and trying to get up to speed with all that learning. Do you think it also really helped that you were involved in the Parent Teacher Association before you ran, and so you learned about it from that angle? Would you recommend something like that for somebody else who's thinking of running for school board?
Oh, absolutely. That's always a start. But I genuinely joined because I really wanted to be part of the class mom process as a new mom back when my son was in pre-K. I wanted to be part of the trips to make sure what was going on. I wanted to be hands-on. But that led me to meet the community, that allowed me to have lifelong friendships, that allowed me to interact with other children and make sure that my kid was in a great surrounding with great students and parents. And as a PTA mom, I think it's the most powerful job you have. Not just the mom hat, but being in school. That is the best, I think, decision I ever made, was to be part of the activities in the schools with the kid. My kid till this day and his friends say, "Mom, oh, we love you. We miss our fun days at number 9. Our fun days were amazing when you were the PTA president." They still talk about my fun days, you know. I made sure every school has inflatables and a certain budget, but, you know, I was always fundraising. I was always donating. I was always gathering donations to make sure our kids had more than the minimum. And I think that's a good start, but I hope that the person does it obviously because they want to genuinely be there participating in the life of that child. So I think it's a good avenue, but at the same time, do it from the bottom of your heart.
That makes a lot of sense. Thank you. Eric, I wanted to ask you a question about one of the projects you engaged with the school district, and that was the installation of solar panels. Was that on all of the school buildings in your district, one or two? And if and has it been long enough that you've seen? Has it repaid for itself? Is it do you still owe money for it? Like, where is the school district with the solar panels?
Well, this is going to be our second year now as a school. It's really technically 2.5 years, but at the school year has, you know, the half and the other half from 1 year. We haven't put it in every school building. We have it only in a couple of locations. We have it at the school 8. We have it at the high school because we wanted to test it out and see how it goes. So we have it in 2 locations right now. And we have seen a return on it. It has been at least 8% return so far. And hopefully, if we put more solar panels in more schools, we'll have more of a return. And we have actually put it by our driveways. So in case it rains and snows, actually it has helped us as parents to have still activities or things under the solar panels. So it actually, we tried to do a 2-for-1 on that aspect of it too.
Gotcha. Yeah, no, thank you. We
A
do
lot
here in
of solar panels, like Wayne has them on the ground. We have them above, so it's actually like a second floor to a parking lot.
Gotcha.
That's how we put them in, so they could serve 2 purposes.
Yeah, right on. That's a really good idea. I know that there are some car parks that, that do like a solar panel roof over the thing so they can just generate lots of electricity and give shade. That's really great. I know here in Seattle, we love solar panels, but we're not the best environment for solar panels. So, but I personally love them, especially as the costs come down and the amount of electricity generated.
When we have our food truck festivals or our activities, those trucks park right underneath those solar panels, and in case it rains, you're actually a little better.
Indeed. Thank you very much.
Yeah, we're saving the planet and at the same time for protecting ourselves from the rain and the snow.
Excellent. Thank you, Erica. I appreciate you being here tonight with us, especially on election night, like all the candidates. And I know that you're anticipating a loss tonight, but the polls aren't closed yet. You never know how things are going to go at the end. So perhaps you can pull it out towards the end there.
Thank you. It was nice to have, thank you for having me. It was nice to be here.
Thank you for being here. Take care.